Hi traders, I'm going to start by just looking at the data. Not a lot of data this week. Euro trade balance expected to be better. Overall, the data that is there, so let me just flip back to that Monday because we've got G8 meetings on Monday, just the Euro trade balance. Euro trade balance is expected to be better. Core price inflation for the UK meant to be better. German economic sentiment meant to be better. Building permits meant to be slightly down, but housing starts slightly up in the US. Then Wednesday we've got Fed Day, so could potentially be slow till we get Fed Day out of the way, which is 2 hours before the close. So could be a little choppy. What comes out of this? I mean, any mention of tapering, etc., will be taken with potential negative reactions. But there's, on the whole, not a lot going on. Thursday, we've got a lot of Euro data. UK retail sales meant to be better. Euro meetings, US jobs slightly weaker. US existing home sales. On the whole, the market is expecting positive data. Not much on Friday at all. Okay, so we now look at the charts. This is, let's start with the Nikkei, because Nikkei I think has been a major influence in this market. This is the, we had 4 weeks of selling from 16,000 right down to just under 12,500, literally just, but the Friday's close and that weekly bar is extremely weak. So, and basically this, this was too far too soon. So from 8,600 to 16,000 in a relatively short period of time of what was that, 6, 7, 8 months was a little bit too quick, and we've come right down to 50%. 50% is taken from the '07 highs and the October '08 lows on the fibs. So there is a lot of support here. There's a massive amount of support, but look how far we are away from the 50 EMA. So I would look for that to come down to 11,400. And so that's another 1,000 points, which isn't a massive jump from where we are. We could get a pullback to this resistance level, 12,000 or 13,000, before we start to inch down on that level there. Now let's look at the Dow on the weekly chart. The Dow is still trying to hold, but there is a lot of bearish sentiment out there. So a couple of red bars on this weekly chart, a couple of blue bars, a couple of red bars over the last 4-week period, and the RSI has come off. So the fact we closed lower, a weak close on Nikkei and a weak close on the Dow, but it's not a mad rush. And you can see 15,150 is major resistance up there on the weekly. So if we bump into that level, or a little higher at 15,200, then we might start to drift down to this 14,007. That's what I would look for. So let's go to the daily on the Dow. I've got the fibs on this last move from April to the May highs. We've come down to the 38.2% a couple of times, and we had a pretty decent close on Thursday, but only ran into that start up there on the 10th of June, and we've closed just above the monthly pivot. It is a monthly pivot. Let me just check that. It's a weekly pivot. I thought it was a monthly pivot. I know what's happened. Sorry, this is a slightly different chart, isn't it? So the monthly pivot is up there at 15,120. You can see a lot of price action around that. You can see why that monthly pivot is down there. So on Monday, close above that monthly pivot, and we could see a retest of the highs. But retest that monthly pivot on Monday and start closing lower, which I think is the more likely scenario, then I think we could start to come down to this 14,700, the S1. But we are holding the 50 EMA. So all the time we're holding the 50 EMA, there is a chance that that could do okay. Okay, the other factor is we are above the 15,000. You know, I do like round numbers. The markets like round numbers. So I would just keep a close eye on, if we can hold this 50%, close above the monthly period, then we could get some kind of bounce. Otherwise, I would look to get short. I'm going to take that off because I find that psychologically, if I put a trend line above it like there, it makes me think that it's about to break up. So I prefer just to look at fibs and horizontal support and resistance, particularly on a day like this. Okay, so I think there's more red in there than there is blue. We are just bumping along in this. There's a big box at the moment, isn't there? We're in that box at the moment, which is 15,000 and 15,200, or roughly 250 area. Okay, so the way we come out of that box is going to be critical, and I suspect the way is going to be down. So got the trend lines. I'm going to hold that trend line on there. Okay, right. Other charts. Let's go straight to the oil, because the oil has been incredibly buoyant. Weekly has got it. You can see it's gone right into that resistance. So since the beginning of June, we've slammed into R1. We pulled back to 50 EMA. We slammed into the top of the fib zone. We've broken this trend line, so a pullback to 97 is a great place to get long. I would look to get long at 97, or possibly even Thursday's high. Yeah, Thursday's high is just under 97, so I would look to get there. Okay, so let's get into the currency pairs. Before we disappear, let's just look at the FTSE on the daily. So yeah, a long move down from this start at 67.68, having tested 6900 roughly. A big bar on Thursday, 100-point move on Thursday, but then came back to a major support level. So we're holding the fibs at 38.2. Let me just check where I got that fibs from. I'm not convinced I don't like where that fibs is. I put the fibs on this last big move from early April to the highs of 22nd of May. I think this is not looking good. It's decent support. It's very, very decent support. So we've closed below 62.13, or break Thursday's low, and this is in trouble. This could be bottoming, but we need a close above this S1. Close above monthly S1, and I think that could do something. Otherwise, I would steer clear. Right, now we're going to look at currencies. So start with the dollar pairs. Pound US dollar, that to me is a hangman. We've got very high RSI. Let me see, how much resistance have we got up there? It's a very bullish weekly bar. That's the only thing. I mean, break that high. We'll break 15750, which is a nice round number. I think we're going to R2. RSI is high. There is a lot of price action around, yeah, just above 760. 750 is a good area. So I think the hangman might drag this right down to R1 and close down there, and this pound's in trouble. But I think we start breaking 157. I think we're heading. I think we're going to start to close lower. Let's look at the euro. Compared strength of the dollar here. Another hangman as well. It's a slightly deeper hangman. Now it's a predominantly blue here. I mean, the weekly charts are looking good, but I just think that is struggling. What's the fibs on that one as well? We've closed just above the 38.2% fibs. We're holding 38.2% fibs. So break 134, and we're going back to 135. But again, we're getting very high RSI up here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to, if we look at the 80 EMA on the weekly, on the daily, sorry, we haven't tested the daily 8 for some time really. So it's been a very, very bullish chart. I'm going to stand aside of that Monday and just see how we close. It's a bit of a cop out. I do admit it's a bit of a cop out. But what I don't want to do is start to commit one way or the other and then only see it go against me. So I do need to see what that's going to do. So start closing underneath 15670, and that's in trouble. Let's look at the Aussie US. I had a good move up from 93.50 into 96.50, and then closed 95.65. I think we've hit. I think this is a major resistance level, and we will start to retrace. I think we're going to rotate back to the trend, to the downtrend. But a close above 96.70 will be key. The close above this key level here, I've got marked. And CAD, I've been keeping a very close eye on CAD Swissy because the CAD pairs are high on my list. That's the last big move. We breached that on Thursday. I've got divergent RSI. We had a new low close above on Friday and then a holding pattern on Thursday. I think close above 90.70. I like this one. Close above 90.70, and I think this one could. We've got a lot of CAD. We've got a lot of Swissy data coming up. I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday this week. We've not closed above the daily 8 for a long time. We could. So the fact we just crashed in the daily 8 and still not closed above is poor. So look for a close above 91 to see if that can at least recover to the 50 EMA at 92.50. Let's look at some more CAD pairs. Aussie CAD. It's had quite some climb down. And whenever we've had a blue bar here, we've just moved up into resistance and sold. Showing weakness in the Aussie and strength in the CAD. I think we're at least going to retest 96.45. That did close above the 8 on Thursday. I think if that retests the hammer, I think that will hold. Come down to 96.50, retest that hammer, and I think we are due some kind of bounce. We've had one. Let's run this down on the Elliott wave. So we've had 1, 2, 3 waves. A, B, we're in a C wave. Yeah, C wave will take us down to the hammer. The D, 1, 2, 3. Now let me do this again. That's wave 1 to 103.86. That's wave 2 to parity. That's wave 3 down to 95.85. This is an A wave correction. We're getting a B wave down to the hammer. C wave up to this resistance here, and then the D. So I think we could be moving to 19,950 before resuming the downtrend to break these lows. Okay. So you might, if you're interested in this, you could buy 96.50 to see if we can get up to 300 point move up to this resistance level up there at the 161 extension. Okay, it's had a dramatic drop, and I think it's overcooked, and I think we are due a bounce on that. Yen pairs, let's look at the euro yen. Incredibly weak. Let me tidy up the parity, the fibs. So a pullback to even 126.35 could see us come back at least retest 124 and possibly come down to at least S3. So we failed at the monthly pivot, failed the S1. So any pullback up to here, ideally 126.50. Let's see if we can get down to these lower levels. And the pound yen, same story. A really weak close on Friday. So pullback to 148. Or 149 to see if we can get down to 144. I think the pound yen is, I think it's been a really good performing instrument. If you get on the right side of this, once or twice last week I tried to buy it because I thought this one was holding. 150 would hold. So I got that wrong. But that's an incredibly weak close. RSI is very low down there though. And that is a 50% fib. So again, you might want to wait till we get a Monday close on that. US dollar CAD, that looks to me something of a holding bar. I think that could possibly rotate back down there. So we get a little bit of a bounce on Monday. 102 is a place to get short to see if that can come down to parity. US dollar Swissy. Is very weak. Let's put fibs on this. Now look at that, we're just holding this really low region. Massive amount of support down there. The close above 92.50, and that is going to retrace to at least 50%. The weak close on Friday, it looks like it's consolidating, getting ready to drop further. So on the ATMA, it can't get through the ATMA, so we come up and touch the 8 and then drop. We're coming down to 90. So again, I would leave that and then just wait. Gold, absolutely sideways in a box. Let's just take all these markings off for now, for a minute. A huge drop, push it back into resistance, huge drop, push it back into resistance, and a decent drop, a shallow drop. Closed above Thursday's bar. Put the fibs on it. There's the fibs on the last big move. So we're holding this 23.6. So we're closing above this 23.6. I think that stands a chance of at least retesting 114.25. At which point that could just fail. That could just drop hard. But at the moment I'm seeing that coming back to 14.23. closed below 1385 and that's dropping, but look what normally happens. You normally get this consolidation, it'll drop, pull back, drop, consolidation, drop. That monthly pivot at 1405 could be key. Retest that and then we're coming down, but not a clear chart. Down Aussie dollar has come off, held that 127 extension. Right, let's now look at copper. Copper's struggling. This is a key area. That copper is struggling and looking as if we could just fall out of that. Soybeans, not been a great instrument to trade recently. So we come off the fib zone, just shuffling in and out the fib zone here. Reversal bar up there Wednesday, just clinging on. But break off the 1500. If we hold $15, then I think we could break up. Quick look at UK stocks. Vodafone, that just fell out. It looks like everybody just gave up, got impatient, just took profits and just got out. That's a horrible gap down. The fact the gap down here, the key level was 181, and the fact that we get down again the next day is pretty weak, as I'm sure it's pretty obvious. Unless we close above 182, we have hit low RSI here, so if the buyers come in and start closing above 181, we could at least get back to 190. But a lot of red bars up here, engulfing bars, so this really had a lot of problems up there. Rolls-Royce, similar story. We are struggling. Rolls-Royce is a good success story, but unless if we can get back close above 1185, we've got a couple of hammers down there. What might happen is we might bump into this resistance area and then just start selling and coming down to that S1, because we're under the monthly pivot, and unless we start closing above it quickly, I think that is run into that resistance, and then this is a potential bearish consolidation, and we could see further downside. Okay, let's leave it there for now because this is quite a long video. So Monday's Traders Roundtable is going to be looking at a big picture, giving a big picture analysis across the markets to think about where we're heading as getting too deep into the summer period, and what we might look for as we come out of that. Okay, hope that helps, and see you on Monday.